Hello, everyone. Before we start, I think it's a fun idea if you let me know where you're listening from. Thanks. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get comfortable and begin. I sit in my study, gazing out the window at the perfectly manicured lawn. It's the kind of view that makes you believe life is perfect, but I know better. From the outside, everything seems idyllic. I'm the successful husband with the beautiful wife, living in the kind of home that people envy. We even have a son, a bright, curious boy who's the center of my world. But as I stare out at the peaceful scene, I can't shake the feeling that it's all just a facade. My wife Emily and I have been married for 10 years. We were happy once, or at least I thought we were. But a few years ago, things started to change. The spark that once burned between us began to dim. I wanted to reignite it, to do whatever it took to bring back the passion we once shared. So when Emily suggested we open our marriage, I agreed. It wasn't an easy decision, but I told myself it was for the best, that it would make us stronger. In the beginning, it worked. We had rules, clear boundaries to protect our marriage. Discretion was key, and our son, Liam, was never to know. Emily seemed happier, more relaxed, and I felt a renewed connection with her. We both had our separate adventures, but they were just that, separate, or so I thought. It's a quiet evening, and I'm in the kitchen preparing dinner when Liam comes bounding in, holding a tablet. "Daddy, look what I've found," he says, his face lit up with innocent excitement. I smile, ruffling his hair, and take the tablet from him. "What is it, buddy?" I ask, glancing at the screen. My breath catches in my throat as I see the video playing. It's Emily, my wife, laughing, her hands draped over a man I don't recognize. They're in our bedroom. "Mommy and her second dad," Liam explains, his voice cheerful, oblivious to the dark clouds settling over me. I freeze, my heart pounding in my chest. I force a smile and hand the tablet back to him. "Why don't you go play for a bit, okay, sport? I need to talk to Mommy." He runs off, leaving me standing there, my mind racing. How could this happen? We had rules, boundaries. My hands tremble as I pour myself a glass of water. I try to calm down, but the image of Emily with that man is seared into my mind. I hear the front door open, and I know it's her. Emily walks into the kitchen, smiling as she sets her purse down. She looks up at me, and her smile falters. "What's wrong?" she asks, sensing the tension in the air. I take a deep breath, my mind still reeling. "We need to talk," I say, my voice barely steady. Her eyes widen, and I can see the wheels turning in her head. She knows something is off, but she doesn't know just how much everything is about to change. "What do you mean we need to talk?" Emily's voice is tight, her eyes searching mine for an answer. I feel a wave of anger wash over me, but I try to keep my voice steady. "Liam found a video on the tablet," I say slowly, watching her face. "A video of you and some man." Her expression flickers for a moment, then she quickly recovers, forcing a smile. "Oh, that? It's nothing, just a silly thing. I thought we agreed this was okay, didn't we?" She's trying to play it off like it's no big deal, but the casual tone in her voice makes my blood boil. "We agreed to discretion, Emily. We agreed to protect Liam from this. But now he's seen it. How could you be so careless?" I expect her to look guilty, to apologize, but she doesn't. Instead, she shrugs. "It's just one video. He probably doesn't even understand what he saw." "That's not the point," I snap. "He knows it's wrong. He called the guy Mommy's second dad. Do you have any idea what that means? What he might be thinking?" Emily rolls her eyes, exasperated. "You're overreacting, Michael. Kids forget things like this. It's not going to scar him for life." The way she dismisses my concerns cuts deep. I can feel my hands shaking as I try to contain my anger. This isn't just about Liam, it's about us. This whole open marriage thing was supposed to make us stronger, but it's tearing us apart. Emily sighs, leaning against the counter, her arms crossed. "Michael, you knew what this was when we started. We both agreed that we needed this. It's kept things exciting, hasn't it?" "Exciting?" I repeat, incredulous. "Emily, this isn't a game. We're supposed to be a family. I thought this was about keeping us together, but it feels like you've just been using me." Her eyes flash with irritation. Using you? Don't be ridiculous. You're being dramatic. I can't believe what I'm hearing. It's like I'm talking to a stranger. Dramatic? Emily, I trusted you. We made rules and you broke them. You put our son at risk and you don't even care. She glares at me, her composure cracking. Of course I care, but you're blowing this way out of proportion. It's just a video, Michael. It's not the end of the world. Her indifference sends a chill through me. If it's not the end of the world, then why does it feel like it? I turn away from her, trying to gather my thoughts, but all I can see is Liam's innocent face as he showed me that video. The anger I feel is only rivaled by the deep sense of betrayal that's been festering inside me. I need some air, I say, grabbing my keys from the counter. I can't be in this house with her right now. Everything feels too suffocating. As I step outside, the cool night air hits my face, but it does little to calm me down. My thoughts are racing and I feel like I'm on the brink of losing control. I pull out my phone, needing to talk to someone, anyone who can help me make sense of this. Just as I'm about to dial my best friend Mark, my phone buzzes with an incoming call. The number is unknown, but something tells me I should answer it. My heart pounds in my chest as I press the button and bring the phone to my ear. Hello, I say, trying to keep my voice steady. Michael, a man's voice says on the other end. It's cold, detached. I don't recognize it, but the way he says my name sends a shiver down my spine. I thought we had an agreement. What the hell are you talking about? I snap, my patience already worn thin. Your wife, the man continues, his voice laced with disdain. She broke the rules. She got sloppy. And now it's time to deal with the consequences. I feel a sinking feeling in my gut. Who are you, Baum? I'm the man who's been screwing your wife, he says bluntly. But that's not all, Michael. I'm also the man who's going to make sure you pay for letting this happen. My blood runs cold. What do you mean, make me pay? What do you want? He chuckles darkly. I've left something for you on your doorstep. Consider it a little gift. You should go check it out. But before you do, know this. Our deal is off. Your wife didn't hold up her end, so now I'm not holding up mine. The line goes dead before I can respond, and I'm left standing there, stunned. I feel like I've been punched in the gut. I rush back into the house, my heart pounding. I don't bother telling Emily where I'm going. She's the last person I want to see right now. When I open the front door, there's a small box sitting on the welcome mat. It's neatly wrapped, almost like a present. My hands shake as I pick it up, a sense of dread washing over me. I carry the box inside, setting it on the kitchen table. Emily is still there, looking at me with confusion. What's going on, she asks, but I ignore her. Slowly, I peel back the wrapping paper, revealing a plain cardboard box underneath. I open it, and the first thing I see is a folded piece of paper. I pull it out and unfold it, my eyes scanning the words written in bold letters. DNA test results. My stomach churns as I read further, the reality of what I'm seeing hitting me like a ton of bricks. The results are for Liam. They're not mine. The man on the phone was telling the truth. My son, our son, isn't mine. I drop the paper, my vision blurring with tears of rage and betrayal. Beneath the paper, there are more items. Emily's wedding ring, a few pieces of lingerie that I know aren't new, and a photograph. It's of Emily and the man from the video, the man who just called me, both of them smiling like they don't have a care in the world. I turn to Emily, my hands trembling. What the hell is this? I demand, my voice shaking with anger. She looks at the contents of the box, her face paling. Michael, I can explain. Explain? I cut her off, my voice rising. Explain what? That you've been lying to me? That Liam isn't my son? That you've been screwing this guy behind my back and making a fool out of me? Her eyes well up with tears, and for a moment I think I see genuine regret in her expression. But it's too late for that. My world is crashing down around me, and there's nothing she can say to fix it. I didn't know about the DNA test, she says quietly, her voice trembling. I swear I didn't know. Didn't know, I repeat, my voice cold. What difference does it make? You knew you were betraying me. You knew you were putting our son my son, in the middle of this. And now, because of your stupidity, this maniac is threatening us. She takes a step toward me, but I back away. I can't stand to be near her right now. Michael, please, we can fix this. We can figure it out together. Fix this? I laugh bitterly. There's no fixing this, Emily. You've destroyed everything. And now, because of you, our lives are in danger. She looks at me, her eyes pleading, but I can't find it in me to care. My trust in her is gone, shattered beyond repair. And all I feel is a burning need to protect what little I have left. Before I can say anything else, there's a loud crash outside, followed by a scream. My blood runs cold as I realize it's Liam. I rush to the door, throwing it open and racing toward the sound. My heart pounds in my chest as I round the corner of the house, finding Liam standing there, his face pale with fear. The backyard is in disarray, our patio furniture overturned, the glass table shattered into pieces. And in the middle of it all is a man, sprawled on the ground, blood pooling around him. I freeze, my mind struggling to process what I'm seeing. Liam runs to me, his small arms wrapping around my leg, trembling. "Daddy, I'm scared," he whispers, his voice shaking. I pull him close, my eyes locked on the scene before me. The man on the ground isn't moving, but I know without a doubt who he is. It's the man from the video, the man who just called me, the man who was supposed to be dead. And suddenly, I realize that the nightmare has only just begun. I stand frozen, clutching Liam as I stare at the man's lifeless body sprawled in our backyard. Blood pools beneath him, glistening under the dim light of the patio. My mind races, trying to make sense of it all. How did this happen? Who did this? I can feel Liam trembling against my leg, his tiny fingers gripping my pants. I need to get him inside, away from this nightmare. "Come on, buddy," I whisper, my voice strained. "Let's go inside." I lead him back into the house, my heart pounding in my chest. Emily's eyes widen when she sees us, but before she can say anything, I kneel down to Liam's level, trying to stay calm. "Why don't you go up to your room, okay? Play with your toys for a bit. I'll be up soon." He nods, his face pale, but he doesn't protest. As he heads upstairs, I turn to Emily, who's staring at me with a mix of fear and confusion. "There's a man in our backyard," I say, my voice low. "He's dead, Emily. He's dead." She gasps, her hand flying to her mouth. "What? Who?" "Michael, what's going on?" I rub my temples, trying to piece it all together. "It's him, the man from the video, the one who called me. I don't know how he got here or what happened, but he's dead." Emily's face goes pale. She stumbles back, her legs giving out as she collapses into a chair. "This can't be happening," she whispers. "This isn't real." But it is real. Too real. I can still smell the blood in the air, the coppery scent lingering in my nostrils. "We need to call the police," I say, pulling out my phone. "This is way beyond anything we can handle." "No," Emily's voice is sharp, panicked. "You can't. They'll think we did it. They'll take Liam away." I hesitate, the weight of her words sinking in. She's right. A dead man in our backyard, all the evidence of her affair. It looks bad. Worse than bad. But what choice do we have? I don't know what else to do, I admit, my voice trembling. We can't just leave him out there. She stares at me, her eyes wide and pleading. "Michael, please, we have to figure this out. Just give me some time to think." "Think?" I snap, my frustration boiling over. "There's a dead man in our yard, Emily. We don't have time." But she's already up, pacing the kitchen, her mind clearly racing. There has to be a way out of this, something we're not seeing. I want to shake her, to force her to see the reality of the situation, but I stop myself. I need to stay calm for Liam's sake, for all our sakes. "Fine," I say through gritted teeth. "Think, but we don't have long." As Emily continues to pace, I start to think back to the events that led us here. How did it all go so wrong? What else is she hiding from me? I know I need answers, and I need them fast. I leave Emily in the kitchen and head upstairs to check on Liam. He's sitting on his bed, his favorite stuffed animal clutched in his arms. He looks so small, so fragile, and the sight of him tugs at my heart. Hey, buddy, I say softly, sitting down beside him. Are you okay? He nods, but I can see the fear in his eyes. What happened, Daddy? Who was that man? I want to protect him from the truth, but I know I can't lie to him. He was someone Mommy and Daddy knew, I say, choosing my words carefully. But he's gone now, and everything's going to be okay. I promise. Liam nods again, but I can tell he doesn't fully understand. How could he? None of this makes sense. Not even to me. After making sure Liam is settled, I head back downstairs. Emily is still pacing, muttering to herself. She looks up when she sees me, her eyes wild with desperation. I know what we need to do, she says, her voice trembling. We need to get rid of the body. I stare at her in disbelief. Are you out of your mind? We can't do that. We'll be caught for sure. No, listen, she insists, grabbing my arm. We can make it look like he was never here. We can clean up the blood, move him somewhere else. It's our only chance, Michael. If the police find him here, they'll think we killed him. Her logic is twisted, but there's a sickening truth to it. The longer the body stays here, the worse it looks for us. But the thought of moving it, of tampering with a crime scene, makes my stomach churn. Emily, I don't know if I can do this, I say, my voice shaking. We have to, she says, her grip tightening on my arm. For Liam. We have to protect him. Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. I've already failed Liam in so many ways. I can't fail him again. If this is the only way to keep him safe, then I have to do it. Okay, I whisper, the word barely escaping my lips. But we need to be careful. We can't leave any evidence behind. She nods and we quickly formulate a plan. It's risky, and every fiber of my being screams that this is wrong, but I can't see any other way out. We wait until it's completely dark outside before making our move. I'm the one who has to drag the body, the man's dead weight pulling at my arms and shoulders as I struggle to move him. Emily works frantically to clean up the blood, scrubbing the patio until there's no trace of what happened. Every sound makes my heart leap into my throat. I keep expecting someone to show up, to see what we're doing, but the night is eerily silent. It feels like the world is holding its breath, waiting for us to make a mistake. We decide to move the body to a nearby construction site. It's risky, but it's the only place we can think of where the body might go unnoticed, at least for a little while. I drive, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turn white. Emily sits beside me, staring straight ahead, her face pale and drawn. When we reach the site, I pull over and kill the engine. We work quickly, dragging the body out of the car and into a deep pit that's been dug for the foundation of a new building. The earth is loose, and we use shovels to cover him, our movements frantic and desperate. By the time we're done, I'm drenched in sweat, my muscles aching from the effort. We stand there for a moment, staring down at the makeshift grave, the reality of what we've done finally sinking in. We need to get rid of the rest of the evidence, Emily says, her voice hollow. The clothes, the tools, we need to burn them. I nod numbly, barely able to process what she's saying. We drive home in silence, our minds numb from the horror of what we've just done. Back at the house, we gather everything we used. The shovels, the clothes stained with blood, the towels Emily used to clean up. We take them out to the back of the property, far away from the house, and set them on fire. The flames crackle and spit, consuming the evidence with a ferocity that mirrors the turmoil inside me. As the fire burns, I can't help but feel that we've crossed a line, one we can never come back from. We've become something else, something darker. The realization settles over me like a heavy blanket, suffocating and inescapable. When it's over, we go back inside, exhausted and numb. Emily heads straight for the shower, but I can't bring myself to move. I stand in the kitchen, staring at the spot where the box with the DNA test once sat, my mind a whirlwind of fear and regret. What have I done? What have we become? The questions swirl in my mind, but there are no answers, only the cold, hard truth that I can never undo what happened tonight. The nightmare isn't over. If anything, it's just beginning. We've buried one problem, but I know there's more to come. The man in the backyard was just the start. There's still the question of who he was, how he found us, in what he was really after. I need to find out who he was. I need to understand how we got to this point. And most of all, I need to protect my son, no matter what it takes. With that thought burning in my mind, I finally turn away from the kitchen and head upstairs. I know what I have to do. I'm going to uncover the truth, and I'm going to stop this madness before it destroys everything I love. But deep down, I know it might already be too late. I don't sleep that night. Emily does, though. After everything we've done, she somehow finds the calm to drift off. I lie next to her, wide awake, staring at the ceiling. My mind replays the events of the day in an endless loop. The box, the DNA test, the man's lifeless body, the makeshift grave. Each memory stabs at me, leaving a fresh wound. By the time dawn breaks, I've made up my mind. I can't sit idly by and hope this all blows over. I need to know who that man was, why he was so fixated on destroying us, and most importantly, how Emily fits into all of this. I glance at her sleeping form, her face peaceful, almost innocent. But I know better now. I've seen the dark side she tried to hide. I slip out of bed, careful not to wake her, and head downstairs. I pour myself a cup of coffee, but it tastes like ash in my mouth. I don't drink it. Instead, I sit at the kitchen table, staring at the wall, my thoughts racing. I start with the obvious, my wife's phone. Emily keeps it on the kitchen counter when she's home, plugged into charge. I grab it, my hands trembling slightly as I swipe to unlock the screen. She's never been secretive with her phone before, so I know her passcode. But as I enter the numbers, a sick feeling settles in my stomach. What am I about to find? I go straight to her messages. There are hundreds, most of them mundane, chats with friends, family, colleagues. But then I find a thread that makes my heart stop. The contact name is just him. No number, no photo, just that word. I scroll through the messages, each one more damning than the last. They're explicit, filled with innuendos and outright admissions of their affair. But that's not what hits me hardest. It's the other conversations, the ones where they talk about me, about how easy it is to deceive me, about how stupid I am for trusting her. My stomach churns with a mix of anger and nausea. I can't read anymore. I need to confront her, but I know it won't be enough. I need proof, something concrete to bring this all to light, something that will expose the truth. I head back upstairs, slipping into our closet. I know Emily keeps a stash of papers there, old bills, receipts, things she says she'll get to but never does. I dig through them, hoping to find something that can tell me who this man was. I'm about to give up when I spot an envelope at the bottom of the pile, tucked away as if she didn't want anyone to see it. It's addressed to Emily, but the return address is unfamiliar. I open it, my hand shaking. Inside, there's a letter, written in the same cold, detached tone I heard on the phone yesterday. It's from the man, her lover, detailing their plan to extort me, to use the open marriage as a way to break me down, to ruin me. The rage that fills me is blinding. I grip the letter so tightly my knuckles turn white. This wasn't just an affair. It was a calculated plot, a scheme designed to destroy everything I hold dear, and Emily was in on it from the start. I hear movement behind me and turn to see Emily standing in the doorway, her face pale as she realizes what I'm holding. "Michael," she says, her voice trembling. "I can explain." "Explain?" I snarl, the anger boiling over. "Explain how you plan to ruin me? How you conspired with that man to destroy our family?" Her eyes fill with tears, but I don't feel an ounce of sympathy whatsoever. "It wasn't like that," she says, taking a step toward me. "I never meant for it to go this far." "Never meant for it to go this far," I repeat, my voice rising. "You lied to me. You put our son in danger, and now there's a dead man buried in a construction site because of you." She flinches, but I don't stop. "You manipulated me, Emily. You used our marriage, our love as a weapon. And for what? Money, power, revenge." She collapses onto the bed, her sobs racking her body. But I can't bring myself to comfort her. I can't even look at her without feeling disgusted. I turn away, the letter still clutched in my hand. I'm going to the police, I say, my voice cold. I'm done protecting you. No, Emily cries, rushing to me, grabbing my arm. You can't, please, Michael. Think about Liam. Think about what this will do to him. Her words stop me in my tracks. Liam, my son, the only innocent in this mess. The thought of him growing up without a mother, knowing what she did, what she was capable of, it tears at me. But I can't let her get away with this. I can't let her continue to manipulate me. I pull my arm free from her grasp, staring her down. You should have thought of that before you betrayed us. I leave the room, my decision made. I'm going to expose everything. But first, I need to find out exactly who this man was and why he was so hell-bent on destroying my life. I know the answers are out there, and I'm not going to stop until I have them. I drive to the construction site, my mind racing. I need to see the body again, to find something that can tell me who he was. When I arrive, I park a few blocks away, not wanting to draw any attention. The site is deserted, just as I hoped. I make my way to the spot where we buried him, my heart pounding in my chest. I dig through the loose earth, my hands trembling. When I finally uncover him, I force myself to look at his face. It's pale, lifeless, but there's something familiar about it. I search his pockets, hoping for an ID, a clue, anything. Finally, I find a wallet. I open it, and my blood runs cold. The ID inside is fake, but the name catches my attention. Richard Collins. The name doesn't mean anything to me, but I know it's not his real name. This man went to great lengths to hide his identity, which means whatever he was involved in was bigger than I thought. I take the wallet and leave the body where it is. There's no time to waste. I need to find out who Richard Collins really was and why he was targeting me. I have a friend, Mark, who works in law enforcement. If anyone can help me, it's him. I call Mark on the drive back, explaining the situation in vague terms. He agrees to meet me at a diner on the outskirts of town. When I arrive, he's already there, a concerned look on his face. Michael, what's going on? Mark asks as I slide into the booth across from him. I hand him the wallet, my voice low. I need you to find out everything you can about this man. His real name, his connections, everything. Mark looks at me skeptically but nods. Okay, I'll see what I can do. But Michael, this sounds serious. Also, are you in some kind of trouble? I hesitate, then shake my head. Not yet, but I might be if I don't figure this out. Mark doesn't press further, sensing my urgency. Give me a couple of hours. I'll see what I can dig up. As I wait, I can't stop thinking about Emily. Her betrayal, her lies, they've shattered the life we built together. But there's something else nagging at me, something that doesn't add up. Why would she go to such lengths? What did she stand to gain? Mark returns sooner than expected, his expression grim. Michael, you're not going to like this. My heart sinks. What did you find? He slides a file across the table. Your guy, Richard Collins, is connected to some serious players. Organized crime, money laundering, extortion. He's been running scams like this for years, targeting wealthy families, exploiting their weaknesses. But here's the kicker. He was married to Emily. The words hit me like a sledgehammer. What? Yeah, Mark continues. It was a sham marriage, part of their con. They'd lure people in, play the happy couple, and then rip them off. They were good too. Never got caught, but something went wrong this time, and it looks like Emily was trying to cut him out. I feel like the ground is slipping out from under me. My entire marriage, my entire life was a lie. Emily was never who she said she was. She was part of a con, and I was just another mark. I slam my fist on the table, anger surging through me. So what now? What do I do? Mark looks at me with a mix of pity and resolve. You need to get ahead of this, Michael. If the cops find out you're connected to this guy, you're going to be in deep shit. You need to go to the police. Tell them everything. I nod, knowing he's right. But the thought of what's coming, of exposing everything, of facing the consequences, it terrifies me. Just when I think it's over, Mark places another file in front of me. One more thing, Emma, he says quietly. I did some digging on Emily, too. She's not just some grifter. She's been playing a long game, and from what I can tell, you are not her first husband. I open the file, my eyes scanning the contents. It's a marriage certificate, one I've never seen before. Emily's name is there, but so is another man's. A man who died under suspicious circumstances, just like Richard Collins. The realization dawns on me like a dark cloud. Emily has been orchestrating this from the start, manipulating everyone around her, using me as a pawn in her twisted game. And now I'm left questioning everything, my marriage, my life, and who I can trust. I leave the diner, my mind racing. I need to confront Emily one last time to get the truth out of her, no matter what it takes. But as I drive home, a sinking feeling settles in my gut. I know that this confrontation will change everything, and this time, there's no going back. I drive home with Mark's words echoing in my head, trying to grasp the enormity of what I've just learned. Emily, my wife, wasn't just having an affair. She was part of a long con, one that left a trail of destruction behind her. The woman I thought I knew, the woman I loved, is a stranger. Someone who has been lying to me from the very beginning. My mind is a storm of anger and betrayal, but beneath it all, there's a cold clarity. I need to expose her. I need to bring everything to light before she can do any more damage. But I can't rush this. I have to be smart, careful. If I make a wrong move, she could slip away, leaving me to pick up the pieces alone. When I get home, the house is quiet. Liam is still asleep, thank God. Emily is sitting in the living room, her back to me. She doesn't hear me come in. I stand in the doorway for a moment, watching her, trying to reconcile the image of this woman with the one I've just discovered. It's impossible. I walk in, making my presence known. Emily turns, her eyes widening in surprise. "Michael, where have you been? You just left without saying anything." I ignore her question. "We need to talk." There's a sharpness in my voice that makes her pause. She nods slowly, but I can see the tension in her posture. She knows something's coming, but she doesn't know what. "I found out who Richard Collins really was," I say, keeping my voice low and steady. "And I know what you were doing with him." Her face pales, but she doesn't say anything. She just stares at me, waiting for the next blow. "You weren't just having an affair, Emily. You were part of a scam that's ruined lives, that's left people dead. And I was your next target, wasn't I?" She shakes her head, but it's weak, unconvincing. "Michael, you don't understand." "No," I cut her off, my voice rising. "I understand perfectly. You married me, pretended to love me, all while planning to destroy me. And you used our marriage, our son, as tools in your twisted game." Tears well up in her eyes, but I don't feel any sympathy, not anymore. "I never meant for it to go this far," she says, her voice trembling. "I wanted out, Michael. I wanted to stop, but Richard wouldn't let me." "Stop?" I laugh bitterly. "You wanted to stop after you'd ruined my life? After you'd taken everything from me? And now you expect me to believe you're the victim?" She looks down, tears spilling onto her cheeks. "I didn't want to hurt you. I swear, Michael, I didn't. But I was in too deep. Richard, he had something on me. Something I couldn't escape." I want to believe her, to see some glimmer of the woman I thought she was, but every word she says only digs the knife deeper. "So you were just going to let him ruin me? Destroy everything we've built together? All because you were scared." Her silence is answer enough. I can't stand to look at her anymore. I turn away, my mind racing. I need to think, to figure out my next move. But every plan I come up with ends in the same place, exposing her, exposing everything. "Michael, please," she says, her voice pleading. "Don't go to the police. If you do, it'll ruin Liam's life. It'll ruin all of us." I stop in my tracks. Liam, my son, the one innocent in all of this. How do I protect him from this nightmare? How do I keep him safe while also bringing Emily to justice? I take a deep breath, forcing myself to stay calm. "I'm not going to the police, not yet, but I'm not going to let you get away with this either." She looks at me, confusion and fear in her eyes. "What are you going to do?" I don't answer. Instead, I walk upstairs needing to be alone, to think. I head into the study, closing the door behind me. The house is quiet, almost too quiet, and the weight of everything I've just learned presses down on me like a physical burden. I sit at my desk, staring at the wall, trying to piece together a plan. I need evidence, something solid that ties Emily to Richard, that proves she was part of this con, something I can take to the authorities when the time is right. But I also need to protect Liam, to make sure he doesn't get caught up in this mess. The laptop on my desk catches my eye, and an idea starts to form. I remember the emails Emily used to send late at night, the ones she always claimed were work-related. I never questioned it, never thought to look deeper. But now I wonder if those emails hold the key to everything. I power up the laptop, my heart pounding. It doesn't take long to find her email account. She's still logged in. I start searching, combing through every message, looking for anything that connects her to Richard or his schemes. It doesn't take long to find what I'm looking for. There are dozens of emails between her and Richard, outlining their plans, discussing targets, and strategizing how to avoid getting caught. It's all there in black and white, undeniable proof of her betrayal. I copy everything onto a flash drive, my hands shaking with a mix of anger and fear. This is it, the evidence I need to bring her down. But as I hold the drive in my hand, I realize the enormity of what I'm about to do. This will destroy our family. It will ruin Liam's life. But there's no other way. As I sit there trying to come to terms with my decision, I hear a noise outside the study door. My heart leaps into my throat, and I quickly close the laptop, shoving the flash drive into my pocket. The door creaks open and Emily steps in, her eyes red and puffy from crying. "What are you doing in here?" she asks, her voice soft, almost vulnerable. "Just thinking," I say, trying to keep my voice steady. She walks over to me, her eyes searching mine. "Michael, I know I've hurt you. I know I've done terrible things. But please, let's try to fix this. For Liam's sake." Her words almost break me. I want to believe her, to think that maybe, just maybe, there's a way out of this that doesn't end in ruin. But I know better now. I can't trust her. Not anymore. I don't know if we can, I say honestly. Too much has happened. She reaches out, placing her hand on mine. "We can try. Please, Michael, I'll do whatever it takes to make this right." Her touch sends a shiver down my spine, a reminder of all the times we've shared, the love we once had. But it's tainted now, poisoned by her lies. I pull my hand away, standing up. "I need some air," I say, walking past her out of the study. I can't be in the same room with her right now. I need to clear my head to figure out my next move. I head outside, the cool night air hitting my face. I walk to the end of the driveway, the flash drive still in my pocket, heavy with the weight of the truth it holds. I know what I have to do. I need to go to Mark, to show him the evidence, to start the process of bringing Emily and Richard's crimes to light. But as I stand there staring out into the dark, another thought creeps into my mind. What if I use this to protect Liam, to make sure he's safe no matter what happens? I could cut a deal, offer the evidence in exchange for his safety, for a future that's not tainted by this nightmare. The idea is tempting, almost too tempting, but it's a dangerous game, one that could backfire spectacularly. And if it does, I risk losing everything. My son, my freedom, my life. I take a deep breath, weighing my options. Every path seems fraught with danger, with consequences I can't fully predict. But I know one thing for sure. I can't stay silent. I can't let Emily get away with what she's done. I pull out my phone and call Mark. "I need to see you," I say when he answers. "I've got something you need to see." He agrees to meet me at his place, and I start walking back to the house, my mind made up. I'll show Mark the evidence, and we'll figure out the best way to bring this to the authorities. But I'll make sure Liam is protected, no matter what it takes. As I walk back inside, Emily is waiting for me in the hallway, her eyes filled with worry. "Where are you going?" she asks, her voice trembling. "I need to take care of something," I say, not meeting her gaze. "I'll be back soon." She looks like she wants to say more, but she stays silent. watching me as I grab my keys and head out the door. As I drive away, I glance back at the house, at the life I'm leaving behind. I know there's no going back now. The path I've chosen will change everything. And when it's all over, nothing will ever be the same. But as I drive towards Mark's place, I feel a sense of resolve. I'm doing this for Liam, for the future he deserves. And no matter what happens, I won't let Emily or anyone else take that away from him. I stand in the doorway of the living room staring at Emily, the woman I once loved more than anything, the woman who shattered my life with lies and manipulation. The anger in me simmers, barely contained, but beneath it, there's something colder, resolve. I know what I have to do now. This ends tonight. Michael, what's wrong? Emily asks, her voice laced with false concern. She's trying to sound innocent, but I can see the fear in her eyes. She knows this is it. She knows I've finally pieced everything together. We need to talk, I say, my tone flat, devoid of the warmth I once had for her, about everything. She shifts nervously on the couch, but doesn't respond. I take a deep breath, trying to steady myself, then walk over and sit across from her. I don't break eye contact. She needs to see that I'm not backing down this time. I know about Richard, I begin, watching her reaction closely. Her eyes widen just a fraction and her breath catches. I know what you two were planning. The scam, the lies, all of it. Michael, I can explain, she starts, but I cut her off. Don't insult me with more lies. I found the emails, Emily. I know the truth. You were using me, our marriage, to cover up your affair and your scam. You were going to ruin me, take everything. Her shoulders slump and the mask finally drops. There's no more pretense, no more acting. You don't understand, she says, her voice hollow. I didn't have a choice. Didn't have a choice? I laugh bitterly. You had every choice, Emily. You could have been honest. You could have walked away. But instead, you chose to betray me, to drag our son into this mess. She looks away, unable to meet my gaze. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Richard, he forced me. He had something on me, something I couldn't escape. And what was that? I press, needing to know just how deep her deception goes. She hesitates, then finally speaks. It was about my past before I met you. I did things, Michael, bad things. Richard knew about them, and he threatened to expose me if I didn't go along with his plan. Bad things? I shake my head in disbelief. What could possibly be worse than what you've already done? Her eyes fill with tears, but I feel nothing. I was involved in another scam years ago. A man died because of it. Richard knew, and he used it against me. If I didn't help him, he would have exposed everything and I would have gone to prison. So you decided to destroy me instead? My voice is cold, detached. To save yourself? I didn't want to, she whispers. I loved you, Michael. I still do, but I was trapped. And then I got in too deep. I couldn't see a way out. Her words hang in the air, but they don't move me. I feel nothing but disgust. You could have told me the truth, I say, my voice low. But you didn't. You lied, manipulated, and now look where we are. Emily breaks down, sobbing into her hands. The sound grates on me, but I don't move to comfort her. I'm done with her lies, her games. This is the end. I'm filing for divorce, I say, my voice steady, and I'm fighting for full custody of Liam. You've lost any right to be his mother. Her head snaps up, her eyes wide with panic. No, Michael, please. You can't. Liam needs me. I'll lose everything. You've already lost everything, I reply coldly. You just don't realize it yet. She tries to reach out, to touch my arm, but I stand up, moving out of her reach. Michael, please, she pleads. We can fix this. We can make it right. There's nothing to fix, I say, my voice final. You made your choices, Emily. Now you'll face the consequences. I turn and walk away, leaving her sobbing on the couch. I can't bear to be in the same room with her any longer. I head upstairs to Liam's room where he's sleeping peacefully, unaware of the storm that's tearing our family apart. I stand in the doorway, watching him for a moment, my heart heavy. This isn't his fault. He didn't ask her any of this, and I need to protect him from the fallout. I need to make sure he grows up knowing the truth, not the lies Emily has built our life on. The next morning, I start the process. I call my lawyer, filing for divorce, and beginning the custody battle. Emily tries to fight, but she's got nothing left. The evidence against her is overwhelming, and she knows it. The emails, the lie, the involvement with Richard, it's all laid bare. The court battle is brutal. Emily's lawyer tries to paint her as the victim, as someone who was forced into this situation. But I've got the evidence to prove otherwise. Every lie, every deceitful act is brought to light. As the trial drags on, I see the toll it takes on Liam. He's confused, hurt, not understanding why his parents are fighting. I do my best to shield him, to keep him out of the courtroom drama, but it's impossible to protect him completely. In court, Emily breaks down multiple times, pleading for leniency, begging for joint custody, but I stay firm. I know what's at stake. Liam needs stability, safety. He needs to be with someone he can trust, and that person is me. Finally, after weeks of testimony, the judge makes a ruling. I'm granted full custody of Liam. Emily is allowed supervised visitation, but that's it. The judge sees through her act, recognizing the danger she poses. It's a bittersweet victory. I've won, but the cost is enormous. Our family is shattered, and Liam is caught in the middle. As I leave the courthouse, I feel a mix of relief and sorrow. It's over, but the wounds are deep, and they'll take time to heal. Emily is left with nothing. No marriage, no custody, and a reputation in ruins. She's lost everything she tried to take from me. But as I drive away, Liam in the back seat, I know this isn't just an ending. It's a new beginning. A chance to rebuild, to start over. It won't be easy, but we'll make it through. We have to. The days that follow are hard. Liam is angry, confused. He doesn't understand why he can't see his mother whenever he wants, why everything has changed. I do my best to explain, to be there for him, but it's tough. There are nights when he cries himself to sleep, and there's nothing I can do to make it better. Emily tries to fight the ruling, filing appeals, trying to regain custody, but the evidence against her is too strong. Each appeal is denied, each attempt to regain control is thwarted. She becomes more desperate, more erratic, and it only solidifies the court's decision. Eventually, she stops trying. I don't hear from her for weeks, and when I do, it's through her lawyer, arranging the supervised visits. She's a shell of the woman she once was, broken and defeated. I almost feel sorry for her, but then I remember the pain she caused, the lies she told, and any sympathy I might have had disappears. Liam adjusts slowly. He starts to smile again, to laugh. We fall into a new routine, just the two of us. It's not the life I envisioned, but it's a life we can build on, a life we can be happy in. One day as I'm picking Liam up from school, he asked me, "Daddy, do you think Mommy will ever come back?" I pause, unsure of how to answer. "I don't know, buddy. But no matter what, I'll always be here for you." He nods, accepting my answer, and we drive home in silence. As I watch him in the rearview mirror, I feel a sense of peace I haven't felt in a long time. We're going to be okay. We're going to get through this, and we're going to be stronger for it. The past few months have been the hardest of my life, but I've learned something important. I'm stronger than I thought. I've faced betrayal, heartbreak, and loss, and I've come out the other side. I'm not the same man I was before, but that's okay. I'm better for it. And as I look at Liam, I know that no matter what, we'll be okay. We have each other, and that's enough. But as much as I want to leave the past behind, I can't shake the feeling that this isn't over. There are still unanswered questions, still shadows lurking in the corners of my mind. Emily may be out of our lives for now, but she's not gone. And as much as I want to believe we're safe, I know better. For now, I focus on rebuilding, on giving Liam the life he deserves. But I keep my guard up, knowing that trust is a fragile thing, easily shattered and not easily rebuilt. I've learned that the hard way, and I won't make the same mistake again. The journey isn't over, but we're moving forward, step by step, toward a future that's ours to shape. And no matter what comes next, I'm ready, because this time I'm in control. It's over. The court's ruling was the final blow, a declaration that everything I thought I knew, everything I thought I was, is now in the past. I've won, but the victory feels hollow, like I've emerged from a battlefield where the spoils are only ash and rubble. I sit in my living room, the silence pressing in on me. Liam is at school, and for the first time in months, I'm alone with my thoughts. No lawyers, no courtrooms, no Emily, just me, surrounded by the remnants of a life that's been torn apart. The house is the same, but it feels different, like it's waiting for something new to fill the void. I look around, taking in the memories embedded in the walls, the furniture. This was our home, the place where we built a life together. Now it's just a shell, a reminder of everything that's gone wrong. But it's also where Liam and I will start over. I have to believe that. As I sit there, I think about the journey that brought me here. The lies, the betrayal, the fight to protect my son. It's hard to believe how much has changed, how much I've changed. I'm not the same man I was when this started. I've been forced to confront the darkest parts of myself, to make decisions that have left scars I'll carry for the rest of my life. But those scars are a reminder of what I've survived, of the strength I didn't know I had. I walk over to the window, looking out at the street below. The world keeps turning, indifferent to the chaos that's consumed my life. But I'm still here, still standing. And that has to count for something. I think about Emily. The woman who was once my world is now a shadow, a figure in the background of my life. The court granted her supervised visitation with Liam, but she hasn't tried to see him since the ruling. I don't know if she's given up or if she's planning something, but I can't dwell on it. I have to move forward for Liam's sake. There's a knock at the door, pulling me from my thoughts. I open it to find Mark standing there, a concerned look on his face. He's been my rock through all of this, the one person I could trust when everything else was falling apart. "Hey," he says, stepping inside, "how are you holding up?" I shrug, not really knowing how to answer that. "I'm getting by. It's just strange. It's like everything's different now." Mark nods, understanding. "That's because it is different. But you did the right thing, Michael. You protected Liam. That's what matters." I know he's right, but it doesn't make the emptiness any easier to bear. "Yeah," I say quietly. "I just keep thinking about what's next. How do I rebuild after all of this?" He looks at me with a mix of sympathy and resolve. "One step at a time. You've already taken the hardest steps. Now it's about finding a new normal, a new life for you and Liam." I nod, knowing he's right, but the thought of starting over is daunting. I've spent so long fighting to protect what I had, and now that it's over, I'm not sure where to begin. But I have to start somewhere. Mark gives me a pat on the back. "You're going to be okay, Michael. You're stronger than you think. And you're not alone. You've got Liam, and you've got me." I smile, appreciating his support. "Thanks, Mark. I don't know what I would have done without you." He smiles back, but there's a seriousness in his eyes. "You would have made it, Michael. You've got more strength in you than you realize. You just need to trust yourself." I watch as he leaves, the door closing softly behind him. His words stay with me, echoing in my mind. Trust yourself. It's something I've struggled with, especially after everything that's happened. But maybe he's right. Maybe it's time to start trusting myself again. I walk back to the living room and sit down, my mind clearer than it's been in months. The path ahead is uncertain, but it's also full of possibilities. Liam and I will find our way, step by step. I think about what's next, about rebuilding a life that's been shattered. It won't be easy, but I'm ready for the challenge. I have to be, for Liam and for myself. There's a sense of closure in that thought, a finality that I've been searching for. But there's also a lingering shadow, a reminder that trust is a fragile thing. I've learned that the hard way, and it's a lesson I won't forget. But it's not just about trusting others. It's about trusting myself, my instincts, my strength. I get up and head to Liam's room, looking at the pictures on the wall, the toys scattered on the floor. This is where it starts. where we rebuild, one day at a time. The thought gives me a sense of peace, a calm I haven't felt in a long time. It's not the end of the journey, but it's a new beginning. And as I look at the life Liam and I will build together, I know that we'll be okay. We've been through hell, but we've come out stronger. As I walk back downstairs, I think about the future. There's hope there, a glimmer of something better. It's not clear yet, but it's there, waiting to be discovered. And for the first time in a long while, I feel ready to face it. The journey isn't over, but the worst is behind us. Now it's time to move forward, to build something new, something real. And I know that no matter what comes next, we'll face it together. I open the front door and step outside, feeling the sun on my face. The world is still turning, life is still moving, and so am I. We're moving forward, one step at a time, toward a future that's ours to shape. A future where trust can be rebuilt, where love can be found again, where Liam and I can be happy. For the first time in a long time, I feel a sense of hope, a sense that maybe, just maybe, everything will be okay. And as I stand there looking out at the world, I know that no matter what happens, I'm ready for it. Because this time, I'm in control.